Welcome, welcome everybody. We're going to pop everybody in here. Awesome, awesome. Welcome to the Inner Circle Call. Robert Hollis's Inner Circle Call. Most amazing. Hello, Wanda. Hello, Andrew and Beverly. Oops. There we've got Carlos Martinez. What? Awesome, awesome. We're going to get you guys in here. We're going to get started real soon here. As you can see, Robert Hollis is not here today, so love and prayers to him today. As Craig and I are going to be chatting with you today and hopefully giving you some really good stuff. Hey Jeff, hey Kevin, hey Carlos, I don't know if you heard me. I think I said that before you got here. We've got Mike and Tristine, wonderful. Okay, well, it is May, what is it, 21st. Oh my goodness, this month is going by. The whole year is going by so fast. Are you guys where you wanted to be by May this year? If not, you're in the right place. These calls have been most amazing for me as I've been learning to change my life. My name is Meladee Ryba. For those of you who don't know, you're going, okay, she doesn't look like Robert Hollis. No, not at all. Okay, well, today, Craig and I are going to be covering this call. Hi, Trish. Good to see you here. Hello, and welcome everybody to our Inner Circle. Nicholas, good to see you. Nancy, it is a beautiful day here in Southern California. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's nighttime where you're at. Maybe you're in another country like Nicholas all the way from Sweden. So it's amazing to be here. And just going out and looking around and noticing all of the wonderful things, the living art that is around us, that I used to not take advantage of. I used to not even acknowledge it. I don't know if you guys get so caught up in life that maybe sometimes that doesn't happen. You know, maybe we forget sometimes. So, hey, Brian, good to see you. Awesome, awesome. So today I'm going to introduce to you, I get to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm going to pass this off to my buddy here to start this call off, and I am so incredibly blessed to have him in my life. He is such a joy. He brings so many blessings to me each and every day. I can't even tell you. He is somebody who just loves to serve. And I just think that's amazing, amazing. So everybody help me welcome the most incredible friend there is, somebody who is just got your back, very loyal, and is on this incredible journey with us, has been following Robert for as long as I have. I think we've both known him for almost 10 years now. Give it up. Put your hands together. Throw your hands in the air for Mr. Craig Jackman.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Melody, thank you so very much. And everybody, thank you. Wow. It's Melody, thank you. I mean, yeah. You got, wow. Well, welcome everybody on this amazing Inner Circle Tuesday, or Wednesday actually, because some of you, that's right, some of you may be over the international date line or a few hours ahead of us, such as those of you in the Philippines or Sweden, where Nicholas is at. Let's see, I don't know I didn't see if Jinky's on here or not, but I know that she's there, and also Nicole, or Enrico and Dione. I think they're about ready to go into the next next day. So welcome everybody, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Robert unfortunately is not feeling well, so Melody and I get to share some thoughts with you. And Melody, thank you again for the great introduction. One of the things that has been kind of a topic of lately that I thought it would really be nice to maybe bring up here as part of the Inner Circle is a thing about limitations. And I know that we often talk about limiting beliefs. And I was going through how to prep for today, and I saw this quote that I posted a while ago, but it's so apropos, and especially with the way that Robert is promoting Jay Shetty. And short of Robert, I mean, Jay is an amazing coach, mentor, and person that people should really consider following as well. I mean, over 20 million people on his Facebook page alone. Wow, that's amazing. And in such a short period of time, too. So obviously he's got something to say. And what he shared a couple of weeks ago, I shared with you in a post, was focus on your potential instead of your limitations. Focus on your potential instead of your limitations. Now, I'm a word person. I enjoy words, and I especially like what words say. They communicate ideas that we need to share with others. And you know as well as I do, just to even live in this world with each other, we have to communicate. It doesn't matter the language we speak. It's the words and their meaning, and their meanings, I should say, too, that drive us every day throughout our lives. Now, of course, it starts from the first moment we take of life. When we take our first breath, we try to communicate our wants and needs. Sometimes it's just and pointing or looking or something like that. So that's our first ways to communicate with others. Then we learn words, and we try to communicate with those words, and the right words too. I mean, think about it. Isn't it amazing to watch kids as they find the right words and understand what is being said? And the more words we learn, the more we understand and communicate better with each other. So words, when you think about it, by definition, are a combination of printed characters or spoken utterances that symbolize and communicate a meaning. Not only a meaning, but an idea or subject related to the printed characters or spoken utterances. When we put two words together, we think of things. We think of how they convey to us information, but not just information, a variety of things. And the other thing is, words can carry emotions. They can heal, they can inspire, they can make us happy, they can make us laugh, they can make us think. They could also, I don't really like to say this, but they could also harm us and affect us. They could influence us right down to the core. And more than any instrument that can wound, words are more powerful than any weapon, because they can last a lifetime. So we always have to keep thinking about what we say or what we think. And it's not just about others, but it's about ourselves. Henry Ford was the man who transformed the automobile industry, mass producing cars. He was the founder of the Ford Motor Company, and was not a well-educated man. But yet he made an incredible statement with his words, which are so powerful. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So when you want to attract something into your life, make sure your actions don't contradict your desires. That right there is from The Secret. That's what we always keep trying to fight about, trying to think about. That's what brings out our limiting beliefs. So we don't want to contradict the desires that we have. Robert has also recently talked about what we think and how important it is. So if I may ask you, don't have to answer it here in the chat. What are your limiting beliefs? Think about it. Do you understand where they are, what they are? Where did they come from? And I know we go over this over and over and over again, but you know what? It just kind of hit me with the way what Jay said, and how in order to go to that next level, to take that next step, we have to understand where those limiting beliefs have come from and why we're not moving forward, why we're not taking that next step, or why we take the steps that we take to get to the next level. And some of these beliefs, they're probably from your spiritual beliefs, your culture, your background. It might be a nationality thing, maybe your color, your age, how you were raised, what your parents taught you, what your teachers taught you, what your mentors shared with you, and all these things come into play when it comes to our beliefs and our limiting beliefs. And in a video that Robert shared recently on limiting beliefs, he said, really ask yourself, where are these beliefs coming from? Bottom line is that, and this is from Robert directly, bottom line is that I used to say the same stuff maybe you say. This is not for me. I'm not a people person. I don't know what I'm doing, or I don't like sales. He used to also say a bunch of I can'ts and I don'ts, because it didn't take the time to learn from people who could and do. Isn't that how we all feel when we kind of start something new? It's like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. Well, something to think about, because if we change the way we think, we change the words that we use, just changing the words we can use can put us on a whole different plane, a whole different thought pattern, process, could take us to another level. Jay Shetty even said recently, and I posted this today, lately, I've been replacing my I'm sorries with thank yous. Like, for example, instead of saying I'm sorry, I'm late, I'll say thanks for waiting for me. Can you see the difference that's taking place here? Or instead of saying sorry for being such a mess, I'll say thank you for loving me and caring about me unconditionally. What it's doing is it's not only shifting the way that you think and feel about yourself, but also it helps to improve the relationships with others who now get to receive gratitude instead of negativity. So, beating yourself up about regrets keeps you suspended in the past. And when you accept the reality of where you are now and show yourself some compassion, you can move forward and be at peace. Again, Jay Shetty. It's amazing how this young former monk is influencing so many people. I mean, if you're not following him, you should. jshetty.me. And he also has a Facebook page. But what I love about this is, again, it comes down to the limiting beliefs that we have. Let me ask you a question, and I know Robert brings this up. And I want to be able to just see it with those of you here that are present. How many of you have read the God Memorandum and read it regularly? Go ahead and raise your hands. Good. You know how important. What I love about the way the God Memorandum shares, it's on page 103 in his book. Where's that? Right here. There's our book. Wanda Kay did an amazing job with an audio of the God Memorandum. Wanda, thank you. And if you want to share that in the chat, please do. Everybody should take a look at that. But most importantly, read the God Memorandum, because on page 103, in one of the sections towards the end, and you need to listen to the whole thing, but when you think about it, it is the words we use in how we perceive things. And I love this part of the God Memorandum. Choose to love rather than hate. Choose to laugh rather than cry. Choose to create rather than destroy. Choose to persevere rather than quit. Choose to praise rather than gossip. Choose to heal rather than wound. Choose to give rather than steal. Choose to act rather than procrastinate. Choose to grow rather than rot. Choose to pray rather than curse. Choose to live rather than die. Do you see the dichotomy of the words? You see what he did? The positive words, the negative words, taking those limiting belief words and saying, no, choose to do this. Choose to be positive. Robert says it so well. Focus on what matters. Don't count the failures, just the successes. Yes, you're going to have some of those, let's say, and I know he doesn't like the word, but let's say challenges or issues. F word. Let me rephrase that. I'm not going to use the F as in failure word. Okay? Because it's so important that we adjust our minds. And again, we do this daily, 1% better every day. It's not going to happen overnight. It takes time because we're so used to the stinking thinking that we've already got playing on that CD right here in between our temples, between our ears. So we got to take that out, put it in the new program, and it will slowly start to spin in the right direction. But take it one day at a time because it is what we think about, which is what brings us about. John DeMartini, because it is what we think about that what we... You know who's got some great words too? Is our co-host here, Meladee Ryba. How many of you have got Meladee's Power in Words? Okay? Please, it's a short read. I want you to really take a look at it, and I'd love for you to think about some of the words. Now, words like can't, but, should, try. It's a short read, but honestly, a valuable read. I'll post the link for her Power in Words here in just a minute because I'd like Meladee to share some thoughts with us. You know, her thoughts and words affected her past. And because of that, we are blessed to learn from her, to have her share with us her amazing journey. Because every day that you see Meladee, she's gone through a lot. She's had her, and she is writing probably the best days of her life right now from that because she took the time to change her thinking, change her stinking thinking, to become the amazing friend, coach, mentor, friendtor that she is to all of us. So Meladee, please come on board and share a few great words. Ladies and gentlemen, Meladee Ryba!
Oh my goodness, Craig. Wow, I didn't realize how much that takes from you to be able to do that introduction physically. You know, I didn't understand. You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing. You are cutting out a little bit on some of your words. I don't know if it's just me or if other people have heard it just a little bit. So just so you know that, maybe check that out. It is so good to see all of you here. And thank you, Craig, that was just perfect. What I needed to hear today. And you know what, Craig is absolutely right. I had a lot of words that I was saying to myself, mostly, but you know, my vocabulary in general in my life, I call it before Meladee, because I really feel like I've had this new birth, that I've become like that chrysalis, you know, that turns into that butterfly. That's what I feel like my life is. So learning from Robert, and oftentimes he would always say to me, he says, you know, I could walk up to him in a room full of people and he would say to me, Meladee, when are you going to change that old DVD? I was like, I didn't even say anything. didn't even say anything, but it was those thoughts and those words that I've had that I've been replaying and replaying and replaying, playing that victim in my life that, I mean, it was just all over me. Like he could just read it. He could see it coming. And I just used to think he had some kind of superpower there because he always seemed to know where I was mentally without me opening my mouth. And now I know he has superpowers. And I know why. It's because he's worked on himself so very much. Now, when I finally took Robert's mentorship seriously, you know, I just wasn't getting the results I was looking for. I was spending a lot of time, a lot of hours online and not seeing the income that I expected, not seeing the results that I expected. I was, however, seeing a lot of my mindset change. I just wasn't seeing the dollars change. Maybe some of you can relate. Maybe you're seeing some of the changes happening here as your mindset changes, but you're not maybe seeing the dollars, what you expected to see, where you would be at this point in time. Now, I know Robert shares The Greatest Miracle in the World by Og Mandino. When he shared this with me, I didn't hear him suggest it or give an option to read it. I heard him say, read it. Read it. And in this book, and Robert told me on top of that, God Memorandum, 100 Days in a Row. I learned the hard way. If Robert says to do something, I could no longer treat him like, or his mentorship, like a smorgasbord. I must do what he says. No more picking and choosing what I wanted to do and what I was willing to do, or ignoring the things that were outside of my comfort zone. It just wasn't an option for me anymore. And in the God Memorandum, it says so many times, in fact, I'm going to go through one day and count this, but it says, go the extra mile. I realized I need to not just apply that in my everyday life, in my relationships, at my work, but in my business as well. If I were to be perfectly honest with myself, I was not going the extra mile. I needed to make changes. I needed to make a lot of changes in what I was doing to get any change in what I was getting. You guys get that? So, you know, one day I looked up the word entrepreneur, and it's someone who takes risks greater than the normal. But quite honestly, the only risk I was taking was to continue to be broke, continue to be stuck, unhappy, desperate, and to never see any change in my life. This was no longer an option for me. I was following Robert, yet I was not willing to do the things that he told me to do. How many people can relate to that? The end of December in 2015, I messaged Robert on Facebook and I asked him, will you please personally mentor me? Now, I was already part of his mentorship program, and I had already known him and been following him for many, many years. Many years. And he calls me on the phone immediately, and he says, Meladee, I would love to mentor you, but you've got to do what I do to get the results that I got. And at that time, I realized nothing was going to change unless I changed what I was doing. I also looked long and hard at myself and reflected on my life and what was holding me back. Maybe you can resonate with this and some of these things that I'm going to share with you, and realize for yourself that when you push forward and make a conscious decision to take action, even in the smallest things as our vocabulary, in the words that we say, the things that we think, what we believe, you're going to see your utmost potential. And with that, you're going to see the results you're looking for as you're looking to design your life. I had to move out of my comfort zone. I had to make a decision to do one thing every single day that was way out of my comfort zone, with each action, I realized my own potential was growing. With each action, I realized my beliefs were growing. With each action, my confidence would grow. So today I want to share with you 4 things that you can apply to your life today that will allow you to open yourself up to your own potential, your own belief in yourself, and build your self-confidence. So you guys ready? You ready for this? Okay, so the 4 things that held me back. Number 1 was I valued other people's opinions more than my own. Anybody else's opinion. It could have been a stranger's opinion. And I saw more value in what they thought than what I thought. Their opinions would keep me from doing what I needed to do to create the lifestyle I deserve to live, that my family deserves to live, the lifestyle that I now live today, only because Robert asked me one day, he said, are those other people going to pay your bills? Are they going to feed your children? Are they going to take care of your family? Well, of course not. It was interesting too, because even if those same people were as broke as I was, or in the same boat as me financially, their opinions held so much weight in my mind, and they had nothing to show for it. Robert opened my eyes that their broke opinions were going to keep me broke. The number 2 thing is rejection and criticism. These brought a whole new meaning to not feeling like I was good enough, not feeling like I was enough, not feeling like I had any value to my life at all, any purpose. I didn't realize my gifts or any of that. And again, I'm going to refer back to the God Memorandum. I'm going to give it credit for knowing my worth, my value, my purpose, my gifts, and how I am good enough, and that I am worthy of having success. Because the before Meladee, the old Meladee, didn't believe any of those things. Now, I could take the criticism that I was getting from people and do what I used to do and curl up in the fetal position and let it defeat me. Or, as Robert would lovingly nudge me and guide me, take criticism for learning to get gooder and gooder, as Robert says, learning to use it as a tool to make myself better. So rejection and criticism were very, very hard for me. The number 3 thing was fear. Now, I find fear is something most people have and let it hold them back in so many areas in life, in relationships, in careers, in business. You know, fear of outcome, or fear of the unknown, or fear of failing. Fears pile up on top of fears, pile up on top of fears. This stems from our own limiting beliefs about ourselves, which often comes from our culturescape, our upbringing, our families, and sometimes our own past experiences. If someone's ever been in a bad marriage, sometimes they're reluctant to get married again, or possibly in an abusive relationship, they might tend to be reluctant to get into a relationship again. Maybe they've had a failed business. They might be reluctant to ever have a business again. If you're like me and you've ever been told you can't do something, you might be fearful that you really can't. We must release and remove these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering beliefs. This is why I am such a big promoter, a big believer in the I am statements. And I know, just as I'm saying it, Craig's probably posting it in the chat. The 4th thing I want to share with you guys is really one of the things that held me back was my inability to do things that I didn't think I had the ability to do. There are some things that we know we can't do. So I remember as a child when I was spending time with my cousin who was a gymnast, she would walk on her hands across the entire yard. Now I was so amazed. And I never tried it, but when I did, tried to stand on my hands, I kept falling down, and I kept falling down. but she made it look so easy when she did it. So she took me to a wall of the house and she had me do a handstand holding myself up against the wall. Anybody ever do that? So, you know, as I did it more and more, started to get my balance. I got stronger and stronger until pretty soon I didn't need the wall anymore. Each time I could stand longer. And finally, I was able to take one step, then the second step, then a third step. The more I practiced, the better I got. It built my confidence in being able to do a handstand. So I couldn't just learn by watching her do it. I had to do it. I had to take the action. I had to do the work. I had to practice. So when we have somebody like Robert who is doing what we want to do and getting the results that we want to get, and has the documentation in helping other people get results, then we must take action. We must take the action to start building our confidence. We must do the work and practice, because nobody can do it for us. Nobody can take those steps for us. So starting small with small steps and keep going, and soon you're going to feel more confident. You're going to start seeing your potential grow, and you will start to see the results you're looking for in your life. Because as Robert says all the time, success leaves clues. But we have to make a decision to do something. We have to start doing something to get different results. If you're doing the same things over and over and over and over and not seeing any different results, what is it? Albert Einstein was the one that said, that's the definition of insanity. If you are like I was and feel like you're online and you're just not getting anywhere, like you're beating your head against a brick wall, take a step back. Look at what you're doing. Are you doing what Robert teaches? Are you applying it? And if you are, and you're still not getting the same results, I guarantee you, you're just not doing it as much as Robert does. You're not doing it as much as you should. So always ask yourself, this is what I started to do. Every morning I would tell myself, I'm going the extra mile. Every evening I would ask myself, honestly, did you go the extra mile? Did you go the extra mile? It all starts with a decision. It all starts with a commitment. It all starts with taking action, the right action. Don't waste so many years like I did, using Robert and his training as a smorgasbord to pick and choose what you decide you are willing to do. Because there is no doubt in my mind that every single one of you have the potential to have the same success. Not one doubt in my mind. And especially, they say hindsight is 20/20. See, I never thought that I could even get close to having the success that I have today. Never in a million years. I didn't dream that big. But I can tell you, you follow what Robert does, you can make $1 million in a year. Worked for me. I know you can. I know you can. Hindsight is 20/20. Looking back, I know that Robert doesn't do anything you can't do. I don't do anything that you can't do. Maybe we're just willing to do more of it consistently than you are doing. So just know that you are fully empowered to, and your potential will grow with practice. Focus on what you're good at. As you're learning to do the other things, just know you're going to get gooder and gooder. Don't think about the things that are holding you back. Don't think about the limitations that you put on yourself. Empower yourself each and every day. Every day, That's right, Scott. Eat that frog first thing in the morning. And I teach my students, I teach my friends that, if there's something that you really don't like to do, if you're looking to get the results, if you don't like to read, do your reading first thing in the morning. If you don't like to, I don't know, ladies, if you don't like to clean the bathroom, if you clean the bathroom first thing in the morning, you're going to feel like no matter what else you did the entire day, you've had a very productive day. We do the things we don't like to do first. But remember, they must be done in that certain way. Craig, I'm going to pass this back to you.
Oh, my goodness. Absolutely the certain way. Thank you so much, Meladee. Wow. Now you see why she is such a great speaker, coach. If you're not talking to Meladee, please do her private messenger. She's an amazing teacher, and she has followed Robert's footsteps, which is the reason why we didn't say this yet. We're going to say it now. She is millionaire number 55 that Robert helped to make a millionaire. And there's a reason, because she struggled, she gave up, she followed the proven method, because success leaves clues and documentation meets conversation. And look where she is and where she's going now. That is amazing. And you know what, Meladee? I loved a quote that when you were talking about the two most powerful words. I was going through a lot of my notes before today, and I found this from you specifically, which I think is so apropos to this topic. Yes, Meladee is amazing. It is awesome, Debbie. Thank you. Meladee said this about the two most powerful words, I am. Because why are they the most powerful words? Because for what you put after them shapes your reality. Think about that one. What you put after those two words, those three letters, two words, I am, what you put after them shapes your reality. That's why it is so important, the power in words. That's why we got to get rid of that stinking thinking. As cliche as it sounds, we got to do that to move on to the next level. And even the God Memorandum, I'm going to go back to that. It says this: never demean yourself again. Never settle for the crumbs of life. Never hide your talents from this day hence. And even Buddha, these quotes just kept bam, 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 bam hitting. Buddha also said, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. That's why it's so important for us to change that CD that's playing right here. To get rid of that stinking thinking. Literally, please, I posted the power of words that Meladee put together in the chat. Download it, look at it. It's a great first step to start changing the way that you think. Because the way that we talk, the things that we say, the projection that the image we project, all so very important. Zig Ziglar said, you must learn a new way of thinking before you can master a new way to be. Why not start today by doing that? And we always say, eat your elephant one bite at a time. Now, another one that I found was, and I'm calling it the other serenity prayer. So I guess we can open it up for some questions or comments and maybe even wins after this. But I wanted to share this with you because it is so powerful. Again, the power in words. This is the other serenity. God, serenity to stop beating myself up for not doing things perfectly. The courage to forgive myself because I'm working on doing better. And the wisdom to know that you already love me just the way I am. So with that, just wanted to go over that with all of you. Now, if you have any questions or if you want to share a win, we'd love to hear it. You can go ahead and let's see. I think we'll go ahead and say, go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to share something with us, maybe a win or you have a question for Meladee, I, or some of the other people. What you go ahead and is click on the participants button in the middle of the screen. When you put your cursor in the middle of the screen, it will appear at the bottom of the screen. Click on that button, and on the right side, a list of names will appear. At the bottom of that list will be a button that says raise hand. Click on that. We will call on you. And before we do that, I also think there's a couple of new people on that we should welcome. I think one that I saw, Peggy, how we pronounce her name. Hi, Peggy. And Donna Ray, I don't know if you're brand new to us or not, but the first time I've seen you, so welcome. Thank you so very, very much. Everybody say hi. Let's see. I don't know if we have any other new people, but, those of you, yeah, Scott. Yeah, I know. You're new because you switched out the CD, right?
You know what? I just want, Craig, I'm sorry for interrupting. I'm not sorry for interrupting you. Thank you for letting me interrupt you. I just want to say happy birthday, Scott. We love you.
So that's right.
Today is Scott's birthday. We want to celebrate Scott today.
All right. So shall we, once we find out, shall we do what we usually do? Or no? All right. We'll do it afterwards. Because I see that Mike Dean is here. He has his hand raised. So Mike Dean, why don't you go ahead and open up and share with us?
All right. Just kind of real quick, I wanted to go ahead and Trish had 2 pre-enrollees today. So she's been working it a little bit. And I also wanted to say that, Wanda, you read to me every day, if not in the morning, at night. I appreciate that, me and MP4, whatever it is.
Did somebody post Wanda's God memorandum in there? Yes, good. Okay, Wanda, thank you so much for posting that. And Mike, thank you, because Wanda did such a great job on that. Wanda, can you just really quick? I know that was a passion project for you. At least that's what I felt it was. How long did it take for you to do that?
It took me several months. I want to say at least 2.5 or 3 months. At the time that I recorded it, I did not know, but my health had started to fail. And I just thought I was tired for some unknown reason. But there was a reason for me being tired. And I just was consumed by this passion that I needed to do this. There were a lot of things I could not do at that time, but that was one thing. It was like suddenly your priorities get lined up. And that was something I just knew I had to do that. I still don't know how far it will reach or whose lives it might help, but I knew what it had meant to me, and I needed to do that.
Well, we appreciate your doing that because it's an amazing job. And I don't know if I know that Robert asked us to do that well after you did. So, we look at you as being the first one, our number one, and definitely a go-to. So thank you so very, very much. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you should try it too. You should try to record your own. And this is nothing against Wanda, but what it does is it allows you to feel it. It allows you to read it. It allows you to become it. And it does help to.
I have to echo that. It forced me to slow down and look at every phrase and really examine it for what kind of emphasis I wanted to have in the recording. What meaning did that have to me? It truly made it my own. And so even if no one ever hears it, if you never share it with anyone, doing it for yourself There's something about hearing it in your own words. It really does have an impact.
Well, thank you, Wanda. Wanda, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Because I know I, for one, I make it available to all my students. I share it with so many people. It is highly impactful in my life. And I was just wondering, you know, during that time that you were creating this incredible creation, what was your journey like? I mean, what kind of, because for me it's transformational. It was absolutely transformational. When Robert suggested the book to me, the God Memorandum took me through such a transformation. But before he had me read it, he asked me, he says, Meladee, do you believe everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle? So if I believed everything was a miracle, which I do, I had to believe I was a miracle, which set me up for really going through the transformation. So what was your transformation like?
For me, it became less just words on a page, because I had to ask myself with each phrase, with each sentence, with each statement, is this true? Is this really true? And if it isn't, why isn't it true? And it made me examine it, you know. And the only way I could say I'm not a miracle is to say the Creator is not a creator of miracles. And I could not argue with that. I could not stand where I stood and demean myself without demeaning his handiwork. And that for me was very transformative, because there were a lot of people in my life that had demeaned me. And I had to decide, would I agree with them or would I agree with him? And it was just transformative. It stopped me in my tracks in how I related to other people. You know, now I see two groups of people. I see people who know their miracles and people who just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just a tidbit, will you, because I see people posting, Debbie's like, Wanda, you have an incredible voice here. So can you give us a little background on your voice work?
Let's see. I was in radio for about, I want to say 9 or 10 years. Yeah, I see. And that's not as impressive as it sounds. You just have to be able to sit in a closet and talk to yourself a lot. But being in radio and understanding the voice modulation, and also at the same time, I was taking some of Robert's courses, and Matthew had put us onto some software and taught us how to use some of it. And I said, how can I use this? Because I felt like there were probably some things that I wasn't as skilled at, but I said, what skills I have, how can I use? And so I know a lot of people, they look at the finished product of what Robert or me or you or anyone has done, and they go, oh, I could never, and they fill that blank in. And my question is, but what is in your hand? What do you have? What can you use? And if you'll just use that, you don't know where it will lead. So I came up in a time where everybody tuned into the radio, and that's just about outdated now. But the skills I learned there can be applied in other areas. So you might have skills that can be used and applied, and it's all about stepping into your own as that miracle.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wanda.
And I needed that reminder today too. So.
Thank you. And I know Craig has got a background in broadcasting as well. So we've got so much talent with us here. Nancy says she made mixtapes at that radio station. Proud sister there. So that's great. That's interesting too, because what is some message from the greatest miracle in the world? It is that we are all created uniquely and purposefully. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I didn't feel like I had much purpose to my life. when I had lost our dream home, my kids and all of my husband and all of that, living on the streets, I didn't feel like I had any purpose to my life. I didn't feel like I could do anything. I didn't feel like there was meaning for me to be on this planet. And yes, very dark, dark thoughts start crossing your mind. And this book and the God Memorandum really reminded me that I did have purpose, that I do have purpose, that every single person that crosses my path is a miracle, and they are uniquely and purposefully made. Now, many people I talk to don't know what their purpose is. And they get lost. They feel lost in the chaos of life, just going through the motions, almost like a robot every day. It kind of reminds me of that old movie, The Stepford Wives, where they were all the same. Yeah, just perfect, the same, right? And we are all unique, and we need to embrace that uniqueness, because we are all here for a purpose. We are all here for a reason. We were all given a voice. That voice can serve others. That voice can enlighten and enrich other people's lives. So if you've ever felt stuck in your life like I have, I remember praying and praying and praying and crying for an answer to those prayers. Had no idea what I was going to do to get out of the situation I was in. And God sent Scott Kloster. He sent his voice for me to hear. And Scott introduced me to Robert. Now, I could have just ignored Scott. I tried. He just kept coming back. When you don't get the message the first time, when you don't learn the lesson the first time, it just keeps coming back until we get it right. So, I have to thank Scott. I call Scott my hero because of this. Because he wasn't getting the results in his life, but he knew a man that was helping other people. He knew somebody that knew something that could help us. So, Scott Kloster, I love you to pieces. Always will. And I just, I think about Robert and the 7 years it took me. And I go, Robert Hollis is my mentor. Robert Hollis is my mentor to everybody. And I was so proud, but now I'm thinking of it from Robert's perspective. And he's like, but you're not doing anything. You're not making any money. You have no success. Why are you telling people you're I'm your mentor? I mean, this is like, he was so patient, loving, and kind, and generous. And I got to a point several times where I just thought, I can't do this anymore. I'm never going to get there. But you know why I didn't quit? Because all of the time, all of the wisdom, everything that Robert had given me, everything he had shared with me, his belief in me, it got to a point where I wasn't going to quit for me, but I wasn't going to quit because I didn't want to let him down. I couldn't let him down. And just knowing that he believes in every single one of you, every one of you. And he's rooting for you, and he's waiting for you to take the steps. Make that decision, right? Take the action. Take the steps. Do what he does to get the results that he got, and realize you have so much potential in you. And I look at this family, this inner circle, the tribe calls, especially this call. I look at each and every one of you as part of the Hollis Ripple. Now, if we don't share what we're learning, if we're not sharing what we learned from Robert, we're being selfish. We have an obligation. We have an obligation. We have something so valuable that can change people's lives. And if we're not out there sharing it, bad on you, bad on me. If you had an answer to somebody's prayer and you didn't share that answer to them, I couldn't live with that. I absolutely could not live with that. I just feel like I have a moral obligation to share Robert with every single person. And I know many of you do too, because I see you sharing. And I'm so, so proud of you. So proud of you. Never, never, never look at, like Robert, Craig was sharing with us earlier, don't look at your limitations. Don't look at how hard life is right now. Don't look at what you don't have. Don't focus on those things. Focus on what you do have. Start to visualize those dollar signs, those zeros in your bank account. Start to share what you have, because that is going to put the law of attraction in motion for you. So Craig, and you said something earlier, you know, Henry Ford says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I just totally lost my thought. Okay, so no, here's where I was going with that. What we think we are, what I think I am. That's what it was. What I think I am. It's important for us to change our thoughts. It's important for us to realize who we are and the incredible creations we are. And just know that your voice is going to reach somebody. Robert's voice may not. Robert's words may not be deaf on other people's ears, but it might be you that they'll hear. The uniqueness in you. Thank you, Wanda. You're so amazing. I love you. I love you, my sister.
I like that, Meladee. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Wanda.
And I just have one thing to share. Robert's teaching is so transformative that it's more than just financial. I know that there are people who are in very harsh circumstances that finances could make all the difference in the world, and I don't mean to diminish that, but when you follow what he teaches, you see opportunities everywhere. And this past week, I was going through the checkout line of a very friendly cashier. I'd been through her line before, and I noticed a huge scar on her arm. And there was nobody behind me. And I said, "You must have an amazing story. Can you share it with me?" And she did have an amazing story. She had survived a horrible accident. It was a miracle that she was standing and talking to me in that moment, and shared with me that she had recently, even though in spite of her miraculous recovery, had recently started to have seizures. And I thought, if I had not stopped, if I had not taken the time, if I had not shown the interest, I wouldn't have been able to tell her that I had something that could help, and I'd be in touch. But that comes because Robert teaches us to learn how to make that connection, to learn how to listen, to show an interest and be interested in people. That's not something I would have done before. And I'm just so thankful. You know, knowing what's in your hand, we focus on what we don't have, and we're not looking at what we do have. And we've all got a smile to share. We've all got a minute to say, "How are you doing?" We've all got a minute to say, "What's your story?" We can do that. But those are the things we tend to not do because we think it's so simple. What difference can it make? And it can make all the difference.
Amen to that, Wanda. Thank you so much. And just that's the whole idea of the words, and even just changing the way that you think, changing what you're doing right now, Wanda. I love it because that is a universal word right there. Your smile. Just taking that little bit of time, that little interest to smile at somebody. Robert shared that with us at one point too. And that it was a Gold Coast video, a Goldcast video about how somebody who went into a Starbucks didn't have a great day, but that Starbucks barista that helped him made it a great day, not just for him, but for every other person who she assisted. And again, it's changing that stinking thinking. It's pulling that old CD out, putting it in, being grateful, thinking of the words, the power in the words that we use to share. It's so important. And Meladee, Wanda, thank you so much for sharing, because that is so, those are so, your stories are so powerful. And it's something that we need to listen to, because if we are not thinking in that way, the God Memorandum says we have the power to choose. And we shared that list earlier. Go see it. If you download the chat at the end of this video by clicking on the More button and then Save Chat, you'll get all of the information and the references that we have here that we mentioned, including how to get the book, The Greatest Miracle in the World by Og Mandino, which in Chapter 9 has the God Memorandum, as well as the link to hear our beautiful Wanda Kay do the God Memorandum. So unless there is anything else that that somebody wants to share, I think we can wrap this call up and call it a day. Meladee, anything else?
No, just if you guys are, I hope you guys follow the chat. You know, at the bottom of your screen, there's a chat bubble. And if you click on that, there's all kinds of resources that we put in there. So you can click on that, open that, click on more, save that chat. It will download to your computer. That way you can check out all of these incredible resources that we always share here. And thank you, Craig and Wanda and Nancy, for posting those things in there. Love and appreciate you all so, so much. For those of you who are in the tribe call, which all of you should be, right? So tribe call we have on Saturday, sorry. So I don't even know what day it is. That's what happens when you don't work for anybody. You kind of forget what day it is sometimes. The tribe call will be Saturday, 11 Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. For those of you who are on other time zones, hey, Google it. That's what I do. And we look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, Craig, for always stepping up and just being such a loyal servant. Just amazing. Thank you all for taking your time to be here today. I hope that we did give you some value, and we look forward to getting to know you more and how we can serve you. So definitely reach out. And one other thing I wanted to say, and that is what Robert always says. If nobody has ever given you permission to succeed, you have been given permission today. And that's all that matters. You are a miracle, and you are wonderful, and you are loved. God bless. Take care. Oh, and Saturday, that's right. That's why I don't know what day it is. Saturday, I'm leaving for the Bahamas for a week. So we'll see you there. We'll see you there. Yeah, so exciting.
And one other thing, let's all please give a little prayer to Robert so that he's feeling better. He should be able to be back here on Saturday, but please keep him in your thoughts and in your prayers. I think it's just a simple thing today, but it takes a lot for him to be I'm going to say, knocked away from this. So keep him in your thoughts, keep him in your prayers, and we will definitely be seeing you later this week on Saturday. Meladee, you Bahamas. I can't wait to see the pictures and hear what you have to share with us with that trip, because I'm sure it's going to be amazing. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. Be good to yourself, be cash, and bye for now.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, all of the amazing co-hosts, Nancy.
Thanks, Meladee.
Love you.
Thanks, Robert,
Bye.
a.k.a. Craig.
Bye.
Toodle.
Bye, Debbie. Bye, Mike. Bye, Trish. Bye, Carlos. Bye, Jeff.
Thanks a lot.
You. Bye, Fahad, Rashawn, Neil. So good to see you, Beverly. Good to see you here, Andrew, Peggy, Nicholas, Bill. Somebody just moved. Did I say Neil?
It's going all quick. There we go.
You see Dana on there. So good to see you all. And Andrew. Bye.
Thank you all so very much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.